It always sucks like talking to someone and then hearing them like reminisce about like this golden era of their lifting. And it really always just boils down to a time in which they cared more about the training. So it gave them some extra like structure to their day. It gave some more meaning to their day. Maybe it's not the only thing going on in life, but it really was something that they looked forward to. Oh, geez. It's something that they like meaningfully looked forward to, and it just added more pep in their step during the day. And they reminisce and they reminisce, and they're like, "Oh, it's because I was in my 20s or I was in college or whatever it is." And it's a real shame because I believe that we should all think of that as like a fire, a passion for something is something that needs to be actively kind of stoked, and like you need to put fuel on it, and it's something that you need to consciously cultivate if it's something that is like enriching your life. You can't just be like, well, when it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. Try to work to have it, right? You know, you might not be able to get as strong, but I think you might surprise yourself if you got back to that point where you were more into your lifting and you were thinking about it more and you were pushing yourself more and it was giving you that like greater sense of meaning. I think you'd be surprised that even nowadays on more limited time, less time in the gym, you can't have your life revolve around it. If you get back to being real passionate about it and really actively stoking that fire, watching stuff that gets you fired up, thinking about it, think about how we could be better and how to continue building that motivation, you'll surprise yourself where you can get to, right? It's more that you got your all-time strongest when you were most passionate about your hobby, and it's less that you were passionate about it because that's when you were the strongest. And whenever I talk to guys like at the gym about this, they're always like, "Oh, well, you know, it was easy to be into it when I was coming in. I was benching 3 plates." And I think that, again, I think that's a flawed way of thinking about it. Most of the people that I know that progress really well across a long training career were so fired up to go in and hit their first 185 bench, and they were so fired up to go in and get their first 3 plate bench. It's not that, oh, well, I need to be better than other people. What I need to be doing needs to be impressing the guys at the gym. It's better than you in the past, right? And usually the guys that see meaning in just trying to better their result, beat themselves. And that's the thing that they love about lifting. They find that big sense of meaning, whether they're currently a long time super advanced lifter doing things that impress people, or if they're a beginner lifter. Like most of us, that's when we were the most jazzed about PRs, is when we were like new to this and it was the coolest thing ever, that it was novel, right? And trust me, I know a lot of really strong guys that are still like, well, if I get a little stronger, then I'll be more proud of my PRs, and then I'll be fired up for these like plus 5 pounds. There are guys out there that do 800. I know some really strong fucking guys that just keep kicking that can down the road instead of enjoying where they're at and just like letting lifting be their outlet.
I'm not good enough. I know that much. I'm aware that I have no chance of beating you. No one needs to tell me anything like that! And yet, I must try. It's not about winning or losing! It's about me taking you on right here and right now!
Whole lot of hoes, whole lot of mess. Yeah, whole lot of clothes, nigga be smoking my sweat. Whole lot of emeralds, bitch up your weekends. Yeah, whole lot of red rubies on my lip. Uzi came with a kid, the brick came with a bitch. I can teach you how to fix. The Draco came with a bitch. Condo came with a pig. My new bitch came with some dick. Man, they boy ain't believe it, so I pulled up in my niggas from switch. Man, they boy ain't believe it, they thought I believed in the devil like witch. Man, they boy ain't believe me, a real rock star from all of my pink. Pretty boy can I see me, that's why I be living my life like I'm still. Wake up beside my bitch, I got on that tissy, I even a chicken. I turned to an addict, I brought me a paddock, I brought her a baby room up. Yeah, I brought me a Maybach, came with 2 doors, yeah, that's a Mercedes room up. I stay with the baddest, you count the cabins while making my lady go lavish. I bought a G-Wang, that shit was a Brabus, that's why I brought a G-Wang. Yeah, we rock the full door, had to get ready for war. Yeah, I ain't fucking bitch so long, I do it in a Honda Accord. I had to count my money on the Honda Accord. I just took that bitch, shopping from behind the door. I had to get all my niggas up behind, I had to get them up home. I had to take 12 right on the mind, drive it like my pen was stolen. It seemed like my bitch is brand new, cause I'm only known just to blow. Yeah, I just know they be watching, yeah, just know they be watching. All these hoes love me, I am such a son, yeah. Nigga, do not trust me, baby, I'ma bust you. Wait before you bust me, you shouldn't have trust me. Girl, you got all love, yeah. If this beef no partake, no, I do not eat steak. All I eat is fish plates. My diamonds so cold in the freezer, my wrist is somewhere in the hill, probably my distance. Switch my crib me a Maybach, came with 2 doors, yeah, that's in the same one. I stay with the baddest account, the cash while making my living on that. I bought a G-Wagon, that shit was a brand.
You have to train your arms to support your dogs. So one of the guys that likes my little YouTube channel here that lives in town was asking me the other day about like nutrition tips for the general like long term quest of being a much stronger version of yourself. And great question. I think that altering my nutrition has been like one of the biggest parts of just keeping that ball rolling forward, right? Because the training program and the decisions you make within that dictate kind of the shape that you start to fill in, what areas of your body strengthen, what areas of their body strengthen faster based on like volume allocation. The program kind of informs the shape, and then the nutrition and the sleep are two of the big things that inform like to what degree do you then fill in that mold. The mold is the shape, but how much do you fill it up? And someone with good nutrition and good sleep fills more of that mold in a given amount of time. And you're getting into lifting, you're like, okay, I'm gonna start like just trying to eat a little bit more protein. We all kind of start there, and then maybe at some point you start dabbling with the idea of like, okay, to get the amount of protein that I want to get, maybe a non-standard, like, most people eat 3 meals a day. Most very serious lifters, not all, most, a lot at least eat 4. Like there is kind of a mid-workout snack, and they split the food more evenly across the 4. It's a little easier to hit macros. It's a little easier to get the food down. You build into like if 3 is the standard diet of a sedentary person, we're trying to be a big lifty guy. Maybe we're 4. For me, someone who struggles to gain weight, it's 5. But for a lot of people, it's kind of that 3.5 area. But maybe we build into a little bit more meal frequency, and then we start becoming privy to like, okay, well, I want to be like digestion conscious with my decisions, and then you'll kind of come around to the idea that okay, there's gonna be a little bit less variety in my eating than the average person because I'm eating to get this like really specific result out of it. And it's kind of a pain to like prep a different protein every day. And we're not all rich. I don't have a meal prep sponsor. I would hit me up if you want to. I got to prep my own protein. It's going to get a little bit repetitive, and that's okay. It's just convenient. It tastes, try to make the food taste good. Don't go with the old school, like no seasoning shit. But okay, I'm going to eat these 4 meals. There's a little bit more emphasis on protein. I'm trying to be digestion conscious. I'm trying to pick foods that like me, not just foods I like. And it's okay that it's going to be a little bit more repetitive. I'm a lifting guy, and this is like a lifting guy's meal plan. And you guys have heard me beat the drum of micronutrient importance, and just taking that lens to the day of eating is trying to prioritize things that digest well but also have high micronutrient density. I have no way to quantify this, but I really feel this is a massively underrated one. Is just trying to jack up like more nutrient dense items in the routine. There's no way to know exactly like getting a little bit of extra of all of these vitamins and minerals. Does that really like let you adapt to training that much better? And I don't know. I can just tell you anecdotally, it has been very helpful for me. Freaky D, a guy I like, and I put some credit behind what he says, has always said the same thing and just give me a little bit extra confidence. I'm like, I think I'm hitting the right beat with emphasizing this one. But one thing I've started doing a little bit more as well, and I've come around to, is like, man, just like training, it's really helpful to try to force things at first, right? Like you need to learn just how far you can push yourself. So just trying to mechanically force like volume PRs and mechanically force plus ones, and this really mathematical understanding of training that you need to do A plus B to equal C, and that like it's if you do this input, it will spit out this output. That understanding is really helpful for learning your limits. But then once you're someone who's like very capable of pushing to the outer edges of those limits, then you need to start kind of being like, it's a garden. It'll grow at the rate it grows. All I can do is, give it the right stimulus, which is the training. I water it, I feed it, and it's going to grow at the rate it grows. And my training program needs to kind of accommodate that fact. I've come around to, man, the food is kind of that way as well. So I think you need to be like a little bit stubborn at first to build up these good habits and change the eating habits that you had for your whole life, maybe as a non-athlete. You need to be a little bit militant of like, man, I'm hungry, tough shit. Or man, I'm full, tough shit. You need to push through some meals. But once you're someone who's like very capable, like I can just eat until I throw up. It's not that hard anymore. It used to be hard, but now it's just like I could choose to do that. It doesn't mean that's the right choice. And so then kind of switching over to that like garden approach is if I get to the point on a bulk that getting my food down becomes really, really difficult. And like my digestion maybe is starting to go sour. I would think about it as like, okay, maybe my digestive system needs a little bit of rest. I know the goal is bulking right now, but maybe I'm going to keep my meal frequency at 5 and I'm going to cut those meals in half and I'm going to go through a whole day and it's going to feel like this great rest, not having to push food. And I think on that lower food volume, that digestive system gets some rest and it comes back. And then I just titrate those up. Did I lose a week? Sure. But the following week is going to be, on average, more quality than when I tried to brute force through it. Kirsten's doing a bit of a cut right now, very much the same thing, is like deficit, 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 and it started getting really draining. And okay, well, we're trying to eat these high volume, high satiety foods and, trying to do the right stuff. But if it gets like more and more draining, then okay, let's add back in calories back up to maintenance and then just re-strip them away as like a psychological reset and go with these pushes and pulls, because the guy who goes hard as fuck for 20 days, but hard, he went so hard, his result is just this is just how it works of like slow lifting related things, or a lot of things. You're going to get smoked by the guy that you kind of look down upon for taking like the foo-foo, I need to be like sustainable route. That guy who keeps doing it for 6 months is going to be stronger than you. That guy that keeps doing it for 6 months is going to be leaner than you. Whatever it is, right? So we need to build in that approach of like, it's not just, I need to fucking grit my teeth down, bite my mouth guard and get this week done. You got a lot more weeks of this, especially if you don't want to just like rebound out of that diet phase, bouncing back to your old habits and kind of negate it. Then you need to be building into this in a sustainable way, and pushes and pulls is kind of the name of the game from what I'm seeing.